everybody, Katie Sutton here, intuitive channel and founder of Zen Within Academy and the New Earth Now School with your July 2026 energy update. I kind of feel like I've been waiting for this month all year. Astrologically, if you talk to any astrologers, they've also been waiting for this month all year. It's what the guides have been calling a wild card month, and there's a lot going on. And I'm really excited to share with you about the four energy themes that we have. So, a little bit of background astrologically, I'm just a baby astrologer, but I do keep an eye on the skies. And we have a Mercury retrograde, and we have a lot of big planetary shifts in the month of July that haven't happened in a long time. These are like once in a lifetime kind of shifts. And when we have a setup like that, there often is a mix of fear mongering and a mix of over promising. And I always try to land somewhere in the middle and give you all the very practical understanding of what you can expect and how to navigate the energies as best as you can. So June was pretty rough. I definitely feel like when we worked on that injustice energy last month, we worked deeply with our victimized selves, and that's just never comfortable. It feels like we did a lot of purging in June to make space for what is coming in July. And you all have been hearing me say that numerologically that this year is a 1 year. And so I think a lot of you, and myself included, might have expected that we were like going to be on a rocket ship of new beginnings all year long. But what's really happened is that we had some seeds that we planted in January. And those seeds are actually going to be harvested starting in July through the back half of the year, the last 6 months of the year. January through June was a lot of endings and completions and wrapping things up while we're also planting these seeds and visioning forward. So we've been kind of holding these two paradoxical energies at the same time. So that's overarching what's going on as we move into the month of July. So let's talk about the four themes that I want to share with you all this month. So I hope you remember what was going on for you in April. There was a setup in April that astrologically feels very similar to what I think we're going to experience in July, but with a few caveats. In April, we had it being a fire horse year, but we also had all this fire energy in the sky because we were in Aries season. And there was about 2 weeks in the middle of April where it was like go time, and so much stuff just was rapid fire happening for most of us. And in my own life, this new beginning year, I've been very focused on some practical projects in my home because our home is a reflection of our physical bodies. And when our home is in disarray or disrepair, it reflects how we're treating our body. And so I'm always working on treating my body better. So we're working on our home this year. And I had a big project complete in April during this fiery period. We also have a really big project. Our whole house is getting painted and a bunch of other stuff is happening in this month of July during this Mercury retrograde cycle. So you can kind of think of that as an example of the big things that you wanted to accomplish this year. You had some energy in April that allowed you to kind of push that forward. We're going to have a similar thing in July. And so the first theme that's kind of related to that is return of the fire energy. I think in May and June, we went a little inward. We did, as the guides said last month, some spelunking in our subconscious, and we were unearthing some things and we were working through some kind of gnarly things, some things that were really uncomfortable. Personally, I feel like we got into a level of emotional depth and processing that we haven't been able to access before, which is really great, but it was really difficult as well and heavy. And so as we move into July, we're going to kind of see that fire energy, that action energy reignite. And this isn't like an aimless wildfire. This is like a very, I think the guide said it to somebody the other day. It's like a scalpel energy. It's very refined and very specific of what we're going to use this fire energy for. It's focus, it's drive, it's this kind of deep cellular agreement that you have in your body that you are moving in the right direction and you are ready to take action as you move in that right direction. It's this undercurrent of deep fire inside of you of I know what I need to do in my life. I know what I want to do in my life, and I'm going to make it happen. I am going to align with what needs to happen in my day-to-day routines. I'm going to do what I need to do so that I can be focused and really move the needle forward in my life. I think that's a big energy this month with this return of the fire energy. Always, when we have fire activated in the sky or in the energetic plane. Make sure you don't get burnt out. Make sure you don't get overcooked, right? It is important to still take those moments to slow down and drop inward and drop into. The guides keep talking to me this month about stillness and mastery, where when we drop into stillness in our personal practice and we start listening, then we can come into greater mastery in our lives because we're really tuning into what's going on inside of us and how we want to move forward. And we're not just picking up so much noise from around us and using that as fire instead of our inner fire to move things forward. I also think that when we get still and quiet, that we pull out of the fire that's going on maybe in our external world, and we can stoke those inner fires a little bit better, and we're not getting so overwhelmed by what's happening in the external expression. So this return of fire energy feels actually really balanced in the month of July. In April it was kind of full on. It felt almost overwhelming, and people were like, oh my god, I'm getting so many things done, but I feel like I'm plugged into a light socket. I don't think July will be quite that intense because we are in this 3-week retrograde cycle that started on June 29th. That is really about endings and finishing things up and closing things out. So that will bring a little bit of balance. We're also in Cancer season, which brings in a lot of water, a lot of emotions, which I'll talk about in one of the other themes. So we do have a lot of balance to this fire energy, but if you've been waiting for a sign to move something forward or to have the physical vitality to be able to move something forward, this is a great month to try to harness that and really get some things wrapped up in your life and really continue to harvest those seeds of new beginnings and be brave and be bold. So that's the first theme. The second theme is holding the tension. And this actually came up in a workshop that I was leading over the weekend with a friend, and we were holding space for women and the fact that they kind of carry all of these responsibilities and what does it feel like to put it down. And one of the participants used this term holding the tension, and it's funny because the guides had been kind of saying that to me in the days leading up, so it was like a nudge that this is another theme for July. And there's a lot of paradox, I think, in the month of July. There's a lot of paradox going on in our world. There's a lot of paradox going on in our personal experience as well. And this fire isn't going to necessarily remove that paradox. It's going to illuminate places where you are at the meeting point of really two truths that you can't yet resolve. And the tension between maybe old versions of yourself and these new versions that are coming online. This is the tension between how you're evolving and what those around you are experiencing as you evolve, and the friction that comes up in your life as things begin to change, but they haven't fully come out on the other side into your new identity yet. We're also in this kind of important arc of transformation right now where in the month of June, I watched people just bring all these old, outdated versions of themselves to the surface, and they were just reviewing them. Do I want any of these identities anymore? And we did a lot of work in June to close that out and to really say, yeah, I'm not living in the past anymore. I do want to move forward. But July is the beginning of that forward movement. And so we're kind of still straddling those two energies a little bit here at the beginning of the month of July. I think by the time that we get out of the retrograde cycle towards the end of the month, we'll really feel this propellant energy and we'll maybe feel a little bit more settled. And then we're going to go right into Lionsgate, which is going to be really big this year. I'll talk about that next month. And it's really this tension of, can you allow yourself to be in between these two frequencies and just let that be okay, right? And I also think you might start to feel some places inside of you where there are differing stories about how you want to move forward or how you want to handle something. And instead of just choosing one, I think you all are going to find some compromise this month. I think that there is this energy in this tension where actually, if you can hold that tension and be in that uncomfortable place, that something new can emerge from the inside out. And in this one year, especially in July, we've got this wild card energy where really anything that you want is possible. And you don't have to go into an old story and you don't have to do what somebody else is telling you. You can find a middle path of how to move forward on some of these more complicated scenarios. I've been noticing with my clients lately that they are really wanting, like maybe they want a new job or they want to buy a new house or something, and they're seeing all the stuff that's going on in the world, and they're like, oh, I don't know if this is the right time. I don't know if this is okay for me to do right now. I don't know if this is wise for me to do right now. And they're kind of sitting in that tension of what's being reflected to them externally about what they should be doing and what they're knowing is internally of what they know that they need to be doing. And I think a lot of that's going to resolve in the month of July, and you're going to come to some conclusions. And tension isn't bad, right? I think we like to avoid tension or we like to avoid conflict, but that's really meaning that we're at a growth edge. And when we're able to hold that growth edge and just let the process happen, the universe will give us the signs and signals that we need in order to move forward. So if you're feeling caught between two different versions of self or two different expressions of something this month, just understand that tension is okay and that something new is going to be birthed from it. Okay. And really do your best to take care of yourself so that you can hold that tension without it being too overwhelming for your system. All right. So that's the second theme. The third theme. Ooh, okay. I'm excited about this one because it's been coming up in a lot of my activations in my sessions. And I think this is a big part of the activation that we're going to do in the healing circle. So, because in June we completed a lot of identities and cycles and closed out a lot of stuff, what I'm now seeing as we're holding that tension, that in between space, is that the guides are wanting me to bring in and help people stabilize in their energy field in that in between space. And that really looks like me helping you all to, and the guides helping you all to do an energy update for your whole system. And that is going to bring in kind of the codes and the information that your soul needs, the rememberings that your soul needs for this next 6 months. So, because we're at this kind of like turning of the wheel here halfway through the year, we're reassessing everything, going in, releasing what we don't need, and then bringing in what we do need and getting ready. It's like a preparatory energy. And so, as I've been working with people on that, it's like a full system shift in their being. There's a physical upgrade to that. There's an energetic upgrade to that. There's shifts that are happening in their relational space. There's shift that's happening in their job, in their home. So many things are starting to change for them. And we're doing all the inner energetic template work of that in this month of July. And we have a lot of history that we hold in our system and in our body, and it takes up a lot of energetic space. I always tell people that we're like computers, and when we have all the tabs open and all the CPU in usage, that we can't actually download any new programs. We can't figure out how to move forward. So this Mercury retrograde energy this month is going to really support us in completing those things so that we can activate these new energies. And of course, in our broader world, we're seeing a full system shift in progress. We're in the tension of that right now. And all of our systems and structures that we have relied on are in the process of dismantling and being rebuilt. And it's slow going out there, but we can actually shift faster in our individual landscape and change how we're interacting with those external systems. And that can actually shift those systems to transform faster. So, this is an inside out job. I tell you all the time the extraterrestrials aren't coming to save us. Nobody's coming back to save us from the top down. This is a bottom up transformation. And as a collective, as a human collective, we've got to work on shifting things from the inside out. So, all the inner work that you've been doing, all that spelunking that you've been doing in your subconscious, really harvest the fruits of your labor this month and let yourself come into your next chapter and be excited about it. There's some celebratory energy with this. It feels really lit up that if you think about your whole system getting reset and there's this new energy that comes online and this new possibility that comes online, that's the energy of July. And I, for one, am really looking forward to that because June was super exhausting for me. And I know a lot of you were really tired too. And the number of ancestral energies and things that we've been clearing in the first half of the year, I think we're all due for a little reset, right? I think we all are due for a little of a shift this month. So that's the full system shift. It's everything from the inside out taking an upgrade. When we're going through upgrades, we do have to take better care of ourselves. We do need a little bit more rest. We do need a little bit more care. Just understand that as we're resetting this month and that shift is happening, that your body might need different things. There's different parts of you that might need to be supported that haven't been supported in a long time. Maybe there's a structure or routine that needs to change. Just take a look at what's happening and how you're feeling and what's changing, and make sure that you have everything that you need to support that change this month. Okay. So that's the full system shift. The fourth is emotional completions. And this one's kind of interesting because we're definitely going to focus on this in Healing Circle as well. The overarching theme for the month of July is the fire that completes, and we're going to work with that in our Healing Circle on the 8th. And I'll bring in a transmission on a little bit more about these themes and teachings, and then we'll do a channeled activation. And this fourth theme of emotional completions feels super important. I have noticed that, yes, we got into a deeper connection with some parts of our emotional selves in the month of June, which was great. And we stirred all this stuff up and we've been sitting with it. In the month of July and Cancer season, we're going to find some level of completion with those old emotional stories. And anytime we are processing emotional energy and we are moving through and purging those emotions and feeling them so that they can complete, we're completing a cycle that started at the original trauma point in whatever lifetime or whatever moment in this lifetime that those traumas occurred. So if you think about your emotional landscape, often what happens is something occurs in our life and we have an emotional reaction to it, and then something else comes in and we shut that emotional reaction down before we complete the cycle, and then that gets stored in our body, and then that comes up as a disease process eventually because those emotions get stored in our physical cells and our physical body. So in the month of June, we brought a bunch of stuff up to the surface. This is the month where you're like, oh, I'm actually going to close out those stories and complete those trauma cycles and be able to move forward. And this is a full expression of the emotion. That last little bit before we close out an emotional or trauma cycle is normally very intense, but often very short. So it doesn't mean that you're going to cry about something really major for yourself for the last time, but there will be this feeling of, oh, I've reached a new stage of awareness and acceptance of something that's happened. And this feels really freeing for you all. I see a lot of sovereignty and autonomy energy coming in for y'all. I was working with a client the other day, and she's celebrating the 5th year of her dad's death anniversary. And there was just this different feeling this year for her of being able to be free from all of the pain of that and to really just be in the now moment of he's no longer in a physical expression and I can move forward with my life, and that there's some excitement about that. You all will have similar energies that come up this month where you're like, oh, this has felt so heavy for so long. I haven't been able to deal with it because it's felt so heavy for so long. This buoyancy that's kind of coming in with this fire energy in July is really going to allow you to come to some neutrality and acceptance on some things that have been really deep and really hard for you for a long time. And I feel like you're going to be able to take a deep breath, and it's going to be like a breath of fresh air for you all. And I'm excited to see as you reclaim that energy and that lightness, what you're able to create next, because that's really what is this new beginnings year is all about, is what can we create next? What can we create from the fallout of all of the pain and all of the learnings that have come with it? What new beginnings can we create? And so these emotional completions, June was pretty intense with this. So I don't feel like it's going to be deep and deadly feeling like in the deep, dark depths of the ocean kind of Cancer season. I do feel like you're just going to have some ease of that emotion moving through, and you're going to almost be in the conscious observation mode of it as you're experiencing it. And then there will be this acceptance feeling on the other side. Whereas in June, we were feeling all these emotions and it was just like, oh my gosh, I just have to sit in this and sit in this and sit in this. That's not the energy this month. And anytime we're in a watery season, there's going to be higher emotional states, but it's flowing, right? The stagnation that you all have been feeling where things have felt stuck and you really couldn't move the dial forward, we're going to kind of come out of that cosmic slingshot this month and start to propel forward. And it is a wild card month, so I don't know exactly what we're going to see in the outer realms of our world and the outer collective expression of this. But I do think we're going to see some completion energy there as well. At the collective level, we're also going through and completing some emotional cycles. In the States, we have the 250th anniversary of our Independence Day, and I couldn't feel less independent in the States right now than I do in all these systems and structures. So it's like this really interesting juxtaposition of all this freedom energy, but we're realizing all the places where we really haven't been free and we've been stuck. And so that's happening at the collective level, but it's also happening at the individual level. You might have been settling a good bit, and this month is going to really allow that settling to end. And you get to accept something new. You get to accept what you really came here to do, what you really came here to experience. It's a very exciting time, I think, as we navigate these wildcard energies of July. So those are the four themes of the month. In healing, in the healing transmission on the 8th, we'll focus on all four of these. I do think that because this is so different and we're turning the dial, if you joined me in January and you only joined me one other time this year, this is probably the most important circle to join because we are shifting into this other octave, this other energy. And it's going to set us up for the whole next 6 months. So it does feel like a really important kind of bookend and new beginning circle for you all. And I'm excited about the full system shift activation that's going to come through. I think it's going to be very helpful for you. I'm also working and visioning a new program that I think is going to be live during Lionsgate this year, called the Solar Initiation. And we're going to work with the codes from the sun. If you're not on my email newsletter, then please join that so you know about when that program launches. And I'll try to pop a little video on here as well so you all get a heads up before that program launches at the end of the month into the month of August that will take us through Lionsgate and some of the awesome portals that we have early on in the month of August in Leo season. So that's what's going on. I hope that you have a great month. I hope you are feeling a little bit of energy returning and lightness returning as we navigate these early days of July, and that it just builds from here on out, and that you're able to really harvest all of those seeds that you planted, at least the beginning of it, right? This feels like a 6 month harvest. So we're just starting. Okay. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So take good care, everyone, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.